Sometimes in life, you learn that as you get older, you have to retrain, reprogram your mind from things that were taught to you as a child that were the norm or that were the best practices. And sometimes information handed down to you over time becomes outdated, and humans and the world evolves to different best practices. And the people who had gave you instruction when you were younger, they weren't doing it to hurt you. They were doing it because they were just passing on what they know. And that's why they say that many times in life, for change to happen, it takes for generations to pass away. And that youth and that the younger people with more energy, with a more flexible mind, or more willing to take different courses of action to change their life. You know, like you say, they say an old dog, you can't teach new tricks. And a big part of that is because as you get old, you get dry, you get rigid, you get to the point where you don't want to change. You want to just finish out your life. And I understand that because I'm middle-aged, and as I get older, I understand that. But I also understand that one of the greatest compliments someone ever gave me was that I was an adaptive person. The best book I ever read was a book called Who Moved My Cheese by Dr. Spencer Johnson. It was all about those who adapt are able to reinvent their life and move forward. And things are constantly changing. Now, there's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun. Living mobile was done by the hippies, and maybe they went too far with anti-society. And being a nomad goes all the way back to beginning explorers. Flexibility is not a new term. We hear that word even when we're young. You know, you may think of gymnastics. You may think of just a way to approach something. But you never think of mobility and flexibility as a foundational lifestyle. You think of mobility and flexibility as salt and pepper on the table of life. They may accent the meal that you're eating, but they are not the meal. However, things change. And with technology, it has made it possible, and not just possible, but preferable to be mobile and flexible. Because now you are ignorant if your smartphone is not the most expensive thing you have on you. You're ignorant if you don't spend at least $1,000 on your smartphone. Remember rigid parents from a generation ago? To punish their child, they would threaten to take their smartphone away. You just took your child's future away. Because if your child cannot apply for a job on their phone, they're going to get left behind. If your child cannot use their phone to make side money on DoorDash, Uber, Instacart, they're failing. If your child does not know how to create a thumbnail, does not know how to edit a document, does not know how to sign a contract on their phone, they're failing. Remember when people resisted the calculator? Remember when people resisted the automobile for the horse? Change. The best way to deal with change is to be mobile and flexible. It is preferable that you're younger or middle-aged, because as you get older, you need more stability. But I want you to look at putting yourself in the right position as if you were a power forward, 6'4", Charles Barkley. You weren't the tallest, but you have tenacity and you know strategically positioning yourself, keeping minimal attachments, maximum options, and being willing to use your flexibility to avoid a crisis emergency and to stay a step ahead of the game is going to be wisdom. ESP, she's living mobile in Alaska. ESP says, great to see ESP. I've been praying for you because I know ESP is facing a possible layoff. And when you're faced with a layoff and when you're mobile and when you stay flexible and realize things won't always be the same, you're able to deal with even a harsh reality of a possible layoff. She says, Who Moved My Cheese was a great little story. It's an excellent, best book I ever read. It illustrated the point well. Any point that needs to be illustrated should not take long. I always say, and I learned this in church, my first sermon I gave, they said, if you can't do the sermon in 15 minutes, you are stretching it out too long. Who remembers the book War and Peace? It was this book that was like bigger than the encyclopedia. Who remembers what it was about? No one. Who remembers the book, what was that, about that big ass whale? I don't know, Free Willy, but I don't know. Guys, no one remembers long stories. Short, simple, and sweet. Okay. Why do people love TikTok? Because they're brain dead, and if you can't tell them what you want to tell them in 15 seconds, you're failing. However, YouTube is not TikTok. You need to upload a video at least 5 to 10 minutes long. 2 minutes, absolute minimum. Don't upload videos less than a minute unless you're J-Lo showing your body. Know the protocol. Okay. Know how to change between TikTok and YouTube. Totally different platform business model. Hal, been praying for your mother all day. Hope your day was great. Yes, and productive. Yep, time management. Guys, I'm on a copy and paste life. I figured out my best life. Wake up early, have a healthy breakfast, go to the gym, do my job, my main job, IT job, Monday through Friday for 8 hours or whatever it may be. Go to the beach right after my job. Enjoy a good meal, healthy meal. Go for a long walk. Take breaks throughout the day. Don't take naps. Do a creative side hustle like this. Take a shower and go to bed early. I put some variety. I may travel a little bit, explore different areas. I may change a little things up, but I'm on a copy and paste mode. Okay. Copy and pasting my best life because I found the best template. And I was only able to find that template through liquidating hard assets, staying flexible so I can reinvent my life. And I think about now acquiring hard assets, a house or an apartment or a home base. And I'm not saying I'm against it, but I say to myself, I've learned to live without a house. You can live a great life without a house. You can live a great life never owning a house. I don't want to rob you of the experience. I don't want to say I'll never own property. But I want to tell you this. When you are faced with a layoff, you want more flexibility. You want more mobility. When you have to go visit a sick relative, you want more mobility and flexibility. Why do people love DoorDash, Instacart? Because they can do it from anywhere at any time. Why do people love technology? Why do they love their phone? Because they can log on anytime. Their favorite YouTubers going live. We live in a new era where you don't go to the same industrial plant for 30 years, come home, sit down at the dinner table with your family, watch, Leave It to Beaver, and then go to bed and tuck your kids in. Guys, we live in a world where you Zoom conference your relatives, okay? Where you order your food online on your phone while you sit on a toilet bowl and take a dookie, okay? We live in a world, okay, that things are done remotely and that the sofa, the couch, the recliner is for the older generation that doesn't understand. We've replaced the sectional couch with the Class B RV, with a van conversion. We've replaced our couch with a couch in back of the van that has 4 wheels. We've replaced home ownership with Airbnb. We want to pay as we go, not pay for 30 years. We may want to live in San Diego one day and Alaska the next. Now I want to live in Florida forever. But I want the option to get out of Florida if a hurricane comes and not have to worry about putting up hurricane shutters. Hurricane shutters are for people who bought a house 20 years ago. Hurricane shutters are for people who are invested in rental income. Canceling your Airbnb when the hurricane is coming is for the flexible and mobile. You say, well, you don't have assets. Well, I say, look, guys, we're living in a world where on Robinhood, on your phone, you can buy GameStop and watch it maybe go up 200%, but I would never do that. Why? Because that's not how I invest. But I'm just trying to tell you, we're in a new world. There's still value in a house. We saw that with the coronavirus, and we could see that again. There's still value in stability, but for a single person that has their youth and has their health, you need to favor on the side of mobility and flexibility over rigid, stable, unsecure environments. Now, if you're destitute financially, if you have a physical or mental disability, you need to be stable, not mobile. But what I've found in life is that we're in a new dimension, a new crossroads, where, like ESP, you're researching San Diego. She lives in Alaska, not because she wants to retire there in 30 years, but she may be in San Diego in 30 days. If she has the mental tenacity to change. See, I can give you the cell phone. You can go buy a van. You can put a bed in the back. Okay. You can rent an Airbnb, but do you have a mind? And it's very hard. Even this time, after several years coming down to Florida, it was still hard to leave New Jersey because I went up there with the coronavirus and come back down. But I did it, just like I did it the time before and the time before that. It was painful, though. But I'll tell you this, I thank God I did it, because I watch everyone who made an excuse why they didn't. I watched them suffer the same life year and year. And they have an excuse, just like they have an excuse for keeping their storage unit. Your dreams are going to require some change. There's no way you get to your dream and you stay the same. And so you better be liquid, be flexible, and be willing to pull the trigger on a new life if in 30 days everything changes. If you don't deal well with change, you won't deal well with this next dimension. Because we're done with the days of working in a steel plant for 30 years with the same family, with the same house. Those are done. Okay. But it's true that home ownership, it's true that stability is still very valuable for many people. But it's also true that many people realize you don't have to live like many people. Because now with the internet, you realize that it's not just what's on 3 channels. It's not just what Leave It to Beaver's doing. It's not just what your neighbor's doing. You can watch someone from Afghanistan, from Saudi Arabia, from Israel, to Argentina, to Mexico, to Alaska, to Hawaii, to New Jersey, to Florida. You can watch everyone in 5 seconds by changing channels and looking. You don't need someone else to tell you. They'll tell you. And what you'll find is barriers get broken down. Remember when all we knew about Alaska was Sarah Palin saying that I can see Russia from the distance? Guys, I didn't know anything about Alaska until I met ESP other than Sarah Palin. Now I don't know who ESP is because she still don't show her face and I'm mad at that. But I know that there's someone living in Alaska other than Sarah Palin. I know that they have done Postmates in Alaska. I know that it's cold as hell in Alaska. Well, I always knew that. I'm not going to lie. I know I'll never go to Alaska. I always knew that too. But it's a different world. But I'll tell you, no matter how different the world gets, human nature stays the same. So many people say to me every time I do a great video about Florida, I always can tell who the insecure people are. They say, don't share the secrets of Florida. Don't tell everyone they'll come here. Those people are so insecure. I think about, would they be the type of person at a job to say, don't share what you know, someone may take your job? I don't want to be around those people. Share your information. Share your inspiration. Are you the type of person where you can't deal with competition? Are you the type of person to move to the Philippines because you can't get an American girl? You need to go to a land where women still know how to be women. That basically means that, you can't get a woman unless she's destitute, okay, for your money. That's what that means. I know what that means. We're in a new dimension, okay, where you share everything, okay, and you have enough confidence in your life, okay, where you're not scared or insecure about everyone coming to Florida or about someone taking your job. Never have the attitude. Never stop sharing information or inspiration. I get very upset when I hear people tell me that. What type of people are these? Insecure. Who's your biggest enemy in life? The insecure. They're your friend until you realize they're insecure. And then when they know you're insecure, they'll attack you. Someone who doesn't want to share information is insecure. Not your social security number, not your personal employee, but data that can help people make an informed decision. Okay. I want you to cut off anyone that says, don't tell them, they may take your job. Don't show them, they may come. Oh, guys, cut those people off quick. Surgically. Back to the live comment. Shout out to all my members. Shout out to my newest member. Journey with Jordan's in the building. Moby Dick. Damn it. It took a person from Tennessee to tell us what that big ass book was with the whale. Moby Dick. Damn it. Journey with Jordan. A lot of people going to Tennessee. Why? Because it's true. It has no state income tax. I don't know why. In the era of mobility and flexibility, even if you're Airbnb, even if you're rent, I don't know why you would live in a state that has state income tax, unless your money bag is bigger there. But guys, you could be a traveling nurse. You could do a lot of things. Hal said Moby Dick too. Shout out to the BK. All right, let's go back to live comments. Hal, I appreciate the prayers from my mom. Well, I'm very glad that I think you said she celebrated 30 years of sobriety yesterday. Now, I'm sure she may have had some setbacks, maybe not. But I know sobriety is like life. You don't get complacent in your focus, in your discipline, in your eye of the tiger mentality. Because the minute you are not focused, guys, the minute you get hit in the gut. Okay. Now, look, you can still get hit in the gut. Okay, you can still get knocked on your ass. But you'll live a better life. You'll go farther in life when you avoid complacency. And you don't get lethargic in your approach towards living each day intentionally. There's a scripture that says, be sober-minded and alert. It means stay focused. All right, let's go back. Live comments. ESP, I was researching San Diego. I hear they're cracking down on van dwellers there, writing lots of tickets. ESP, I was researching Florida. Some fat chick told me you got to be careful with the sharks down there. I was researching Florida. Someone told me you got to be careful with the hurricanes. Meanwhile, Hurricane Sandy destroyed most of the New Jersey coast. I was researching Florida. And some middle-aged mother with 2 kids told me she likes to change the seasons. ESP, don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Worst of all, don't put a banana in your own tailpipe, okay? Unless it's a dildo with a lot of lube and that's what you like. If you're looking for the perfect conditions, okay, you don't get shit done. Okay? If you move wisely, and if you... Look, guys, the nomadic life is once in a while you're going to have a run-in where they say, keep it moving. I had that the other day. What did I do? I kept it moving. I didn't argue. I said, all right, that's it. Your house is on wheels. Let your mind be on wheels. Do the research. But any responsible, mature person with decent people skills can navigate life. And if it isn't adequate, then you go to the next location. Because one is two, you have to look at your resources. You can also get 1,000 Trails camping pass. There's campgrounds in San Diego. You can go to Bureau of Land Management. And if you don't like that, you can go to Texas. See, ESP, I don't know if you know, And if you don't know, put the hand emoji in a live feed and smack the shit out of yourself. And I say this in love, no disrespect. You're single with no kids. But you're living as if you're a gated person in a house and you can't leave. You're in a short-term Airbnb with an NV200 that's almost brand new. You can do it. You've done Postmates. You can do that from anywhere. You probably get a better job in San Diego. Live like the gates are open. Here's why. Hal, God bless you. And your journey, I see you. We're going to get to it tonight. Here's why most people will never come to Florida. Because, again, every night people tell me, don't tell everyone about Florida. This is what I want to tell you. The main reason why people will never come to Florida or any other place and overpopulate it is because most people are apathetic, which is the opposite of focused, which is the opposite of intense. You say, well, that's not true. I looked at the statistics and a lot of people are moving here. Guys, you have to look at a broad spectrum of statistics. It's true that certain migration patterns are taking place. It's also true that baby boomers are getting ready to die. That's a whole generation of higher birth rates. So look, guys, I mean, you can make the numbers justify anything. If you ever dealt with a public company, guys, during earnings report, you can make the numbers look any way you want. The bottom line, guys, is you're here for 80 years. The average human life expectancy is 80 years. The first 18 years, let's just say the first 20, keep it round numbers, you have no control over pretty much what you do. So 20 of the 80 years, you're under your parents' care or your foster care, whatever. So now you're down to 60 years. The last 10 years of your life, you're not going to be mobile and flexible, even maybe the last 20, but definitely the last 10. Let's take the least of 10. I don't think you're going to be that mobile and flexible. You're just not. I remember when my dog was young, she jumped off the dog crate and twisted her leg. Her leg got caught in the crate like she was climbing the top of a steel cage match, and her leg got caught. She was dangling. I was so scared. Having a dog is like having a child. I took her to the vet, emergency care. The vet says, you know what, it's good. It's a young dog. All her ligaments are flexible, and there's no damage. She'll be fine. She just needs to rest. He goes, but if this dog was a senior, if this dog was 10 years old and did the same thing, it probably would have tore all the cartilage, separated the joint, because as they get older, they get brittle, frail, and rigid. The bone structure, the ligament structure. Same thing with humans. So you have to understand the last 10 years of your life, you may still live a great life, but it's not going to be as mobile and flexible. It's not the way this world works. So out of the 80 years, we just eliminated the first 20 and the last 10. Now you're down to 50 years that you got to live. Out of that 50 years, you may have to be stationary for 10 years to build a career, to get planted in a church, or to do something where you build information, knowledge, and have a support system. You don't just become independent, you need others. But the reason you need others is to build yourself up so you can go do your own thing. That's the spark plug engine mentality. Okay. So now you're down to 40 years. Out of that 40 years, half of it's going to be sleeping, eating. So now you're down to 20 years. Because half the day, guys, 24 hours in a day, average human sleeps 6 to 8 hours a day. And then you eat probably the other 4. If you add up all your meals, all your breaks, all your bathrooms. So you're down to half the day, 12 hours. So that's the end. So let's just say 20 years, pretty much you got to kick ass. Are you kicking ass? Or are you sitting on your recliner? Are you kicking ass? Or are you watching every cloud in the sky and saying, you know what, I can't go for a walk tonight. I walked my fat ass in a blizzard. Okay. You know why people will never come to Florida or anywhere else? Because 80, 90 degrees is too hot. forget about 100. 50, 40 degrees, too cold. Forget about 10 below. 70, 75 degrees is perfect. However, what I've realized is even when the weather is perfect, few people seize the moment. Few people. They got an excuse for everything. You know, all of us. I have to push myself. If you're not pushing yourself, guys, what I want to share with you is your best life requires mobility and flexibility. It doesn't require a house. You can live a great life without a house. The house may be the reason you're not living a great life. That's why I woke up and realized. Now, I will say this. I'm thankful I had a house for a season of my life to build those years where you need stability. When you're young, you're building a career, you're building your characteristics. So again, with a church, with an organization, whatever. There's a season for everything. But we're learning now, guys, more than ever. 2021 is better than 1921. 2021 is better than 1981. We're, in many ways, guys, we're in the most unique time period where pouring a foundation is like, it's like putting the dirt over your grave. It's like self-quarantine. Now, again, if you need to watch 20 videos about how to sleep in your car, how to stay warm, how to stay hot, if you don't have a job, if you can't spell DoorDash, stay in your house. Because there's knocks on the doors, there's good days, there's bad days. But there's 20 years that you got pretty much to do something with your life. And what I've learned is to navigate around a lot of BS, it's good to be flexible. All right, let's go back to live comments. I'm sorry, a little rant tonight. Yeah, Hal. That was some real shit. You know what I was talking about. Oh, yeah. I'll tell you, man. I start answering some comments, and then people just ask more and more questions. I said, oh, here we go. I got to block a few people. I'll go back to live comments. Love to everyone out there. Again, thank you. I read that. Tony, hello, ESP and Hal. Tony, hey, what's up, brother? Shout out to Canada. Yeah, we got some good people in here tonight. ESP, I won't drive out of Alaska until the snow melts. I can understand that. You're in the middle of the winter. I can understand that. In the mountains, it won't be good driving until June. Damn, until June? Damn. All right, well, let me finish reading your comment. You can drive the Alaska-Canadian highway in the... you can... Probably said you can't. Oh, yeah, you can, but it's too dangerous. No, I can understand that. I wouldn't recommend you do something like that. Changing states, changing countries in the depths of the worst climate part of the season. So, yeah. But now you prepare. And now you've realized that if you don't pull the trigger when you can, you're going to have to suffer another winter. And if you can work remote, if you have the youth, if you have the car, if you have everything in place, don't just waste these good years of your life. Because that's how people waste their life. You're a smart woman. I know it's scary, even when you're smart and strong. But I also know that we need to push ourselves a little bit. So I know you'll figure it out. ESP says, hey, Tony. Hal says, what's up, Tony? ESP. Moby Dick, isn't that long? Yeah, I don't know, guys. All I can tell you is that's a Moby Dick long story. Okay, very long. Tony, what's happening with you these days, Journey? Journey with Jordan's in Tennessee. Journey says, Sam, I've decided to go into DevOps. Okay, now we're talking IT talk. I'm studying now so I can get certified in Microsoft Azure. Well, Microsoft Azure is a go. You definitely want to get some knowledge there. I'll take a while, but I'm hoping to make some transition in 6 to 12 months. Well, I think DevOps is a little bit outdated at this point, but I don't really work on the software side. I work on the infrastructure side, okay, of cooling and electrical capacity in data centers. So I'm familiar with some of these terms, but I don't work on the software side. I would say Microsoft Azure over DevOps. DevOps, from my little knowledge of it, I think that's time's past, but I don't have that much knowledge of it. But I would say Microsoft Azure is a good program to get into. How? Good job, Journey. You're focusing on some good certifications as you get experience. Hal? Oh yeah, smack the shit out of yourself emoji. Good job. Hal, that hit me. Man, once in a while, you got to virtually smack yourself. That's good. Not physically, virtually. ESP? I have traveled a lot in my life. I know you got what it takes. I like some areas of California, yep. But I prefer Northern California. Shout out to my man Pluto. He's in Northern California, so is my man Tom. A lot of people like that area. I've never been to California. Will I ever go? I'm not sure. But I don't like every part of Florida either. I don't like the West Coast. I don't like the Panhandle. So every time you're in an area you don't like, or if the area you're in, if they decide that it's not welcome for the nomads, you don't bitch about it. You just keep it moving. We form habits, but when you're living a very simple, minimalistic life, you're able to overcome the human nature habit by not being attached to too many things and smacking yourself, not physically, but mentally, smacking yourself and saying, look, the reason I live a simple, streamlined, mobile life, or even if you're renting an Airbnb, right? Even if you're living in a small house, if you're keeping your footprint small, because you don't have to live in a vehicle to have mobility and flexibility. You know, like guys, you can be living in a small apartment, a small house, have a modest car, have a lot of assets liquid. You can be living this streamlined life so that you can just do things when you want, how you want, or if things don't pan out how you want, you can change quickly. See, when you're renting out a duplex and one of the neighbors is not paying rent and they just gave you the Joe Biden, you can't evict me for 20 months letter, and when you got two daughters and they're not working, okay, and when you got stress, very hard to change. But when you are only short-term renting part of that duplex, when you got a car that can convert to a house, when you know how to operate your phone like the greatest computer ever invented, you're mobile and you're flexible. Okay? And you can deal with change at a greater capacity. Never forget it. ESP. But I appreciate your encouragement. I think she smacked herself too. I understand where you're coming from. Well, I understand where you're coming from too, ESP. And like I said, you're going to do great in life. Whatever you decide for you. I know I speak boisterous on these live streams, and I know I kind of give very much my firm opinions on things. But remember, guys, I'm just expressing a level of passion and focus for my thought process. For those good people out there that, may connect with me similar but have different ways they want to move in life, know that, look, I rock with you, okay? Now, I'm going to do me, and that I want you to do you, okay? And we don't need to a fight over what's better. I don't need someone in the comment section, a Jeep is really a Fiat, you need to get rid of it. So many people tell me, I'm like, bro, relax, man. Who are you, like a car dealer guy? Come on. I don't want to argue about a Jeep versus a Fiat, guys. I'm not a car guy. Okay. I just use my car as a resource to get to A to B. Okay. I don't, masturbate about the type of parts I put in a car. Okay. And if you do that, guys, you should be a mechanic. Okay. You should make some money, capitalize off that. Okay, good job. Tony, I keep thinking about something you said a week ago, Sam. And before you know it, you're dead. No, I think that's true. We really don't have much time here to live our best life, not at all. Now, it is true, I want to be fair, that when I've been stressed, depressed, and angry, or hurt, or have sorrow. I feel like life drags out and I feel like it's very long and I'm mad at life. So that's a real emotion too. But I want to say as I get older and then when you're in moments of reflection, you say, wow, life is really a short experience. When you realize that it's been a year since Kobe died, it's been a year since the coronavirus. When you realize, guys, Trump's gone. You don't even know where he is now on Twitter. When you realize, guys, we've lived through several presidents already. Girls, your CEOs, your whatever you want to be, we're in this whole new dimension. We're in a dimension where, guys, if you're a man today, you can be a woman tomorrow. If you're a woman today, you're a man tomorrow. We're in a world where you realize life changes quick, and even quicker with technology. And don't cling to anything because you're only here for a short time. Don't worry about Florida being overpopulated. You're going to be dead before people even move down here. Guys, anything can happen. We can die tomorrow. We can live for another. Well, you're not going to live for another 100 years. None of us are. If you're in this live feed and you're above 18 years old, and you should be because all my videos are tagged for adults, you're not going to be here in 100 years. Some of us may not even be here a year from now. Some of us may not even be here tomorrow. But don't let that make you sad. See, I used to think about that, and I said, man, I can't even be happy now. I got to think about all this. I let everything go at this point in my life. I let my house go. I let my stuff go. And like I say, guys, I'm going to do something soon. I'm not against home ownership. I'm not against buying stuff. I'm not against, even for some people who want a family, be careful. I talked to a guy today. I love this guy. You got to be careful when it comes to family. I'll tell you right now. Because family drags you down. You'll be doing renovations till you die. You'll be dealing with conflict, gossip, and BS. The next generation, guys, we don't have families. What do? We marry robots. Okay. And we sit back and we watch GameStop go to 300%. Okay. We make more than someone working in a steel plant for 30 years. But I don't buy GameStop, guys. I'm just making a point. We're in a new generation, guys. Okay. Yesterday was gone. You don't drop your kids off to school anymore. Remember the days of dropping your kids off for school? Guys, those days are gone, man. You're doing remote learning. Now, some of you still dropping kids off. I know that. But you know what I mean? It's not uncommon now for you to talk to someone and say, did you drop your kids off? No, my kids are right here doing remote learning. Tony, $5 super chat. Shout out to the exchange currency. Powerful talk tonight, Samuel. Tony Guerrero, powerful member. You've been a powerful member for a long time. A lot of support and love. A lot of positivity. Asking about other people when you came in tonight. You didn't worry about anything. And I appreciate that about you. Thank you for that gracious tip. Thank you to all my members. I have gratitude. Thank you to my newest member. Thank you to everyone. We live in a world where you can be a member on a YouTube channel and cancel it tomorrow. You're not obligated to anyone or anything, including me. That's a relationship in today's society. Like, remember 20 years ago? You had to get a divorce and go through 2 years of lawyers back and forth. Now you say, you know what, I'm going to stay single and just join a membership online. Be part of a community. Then you get pissed. You don't have to liquidate your house, go through divorce case. Just say, you know what, unsubscribe, cancel. That's it, done. You move on with your life. Mobility and flexibility has always favored the adaptive mind, the adaptive person. The problem is most people are not adaptive, even with technology, even in today's era. The good news is the less people that are adaptive, the more you shine, the more you can better your life. Every time you see someone who doesn't want to do a job, that's another job you can do. You can take a new job when you live a simple life because you can take more risk. You can change states when you don't own a lot of stuff. When you keep it simple, you have two of the greatest assets. It's not a stock, not a bond. The assets are mobility and flexibility. The greatest human invention is the wheel. Greatest invention ever, so far to date. Well, yeah, I would say it's probably pretty close, and then the next is going to be probably the computer. Both of those things, the wheel and the computer, what they give you is mobility and flexibility. Okay. That is at the core of change. What is an invention? An invention is something that's created that changes society. And the only thing that changes society is something that enhances mobility and flexibility. Why do you build a bridge? So commerce can have the mobility to go from one body of land to another body. I guarantee you ain't getting out of Alaska without crossing a bridge or two. I didn't drive to New Jersey without going through, I didn't drive from New Jersey to Florida without going through bridges and tunnels. Mobility and flexibility. It's what takes you from point A to point B. It's what takes you from your current life to your future life. But the truth is, most people live with the gates closed in their mind. Stockholm Syndrome. I've often said it, I'll say it again. Stockholm Syndrome is what takes away your mobility and flexibility. Stockholm Syndrome is a mindset that you've been abducted. You've been abducted by a captor. Someone took you against your will and placed you in a basement. And for years you've been in this basement. Some of you literally. What a disaster. It's true. Oh God. You've been in this basement for years, okay? And you've become comfortable in this basement. You got a sectional couch. You got posters. You got a black light. You're smoking legal weed. That basement's your sanctuary. Yep. And before you know it, even though the basement door is wide open, even though you got a car outside, you'll never go anywhere. You'll never experience what mobility and flexibility will do because you live like the gates are closed. And your captor no longer has to lock the door because you've become programmed that safety is in this basement. Safety is in the 30-mile radius in which I grew up. Safety is not applying for a new job when I currently have a job. Safety is staying the same. Safety is staying the same. And I'm going to tell you, there's a point in life where you should stay the same. You should work for the same company for several years. You should get planted in support groups that teach you and help you. But there's a point where you have to cross a bridge. There's a point where the only thing that takes you to a great life is not a house, but mobility and flexibility. That's the lesson tonight. Let's take a hydration break, go back, live comments. Thank you to all my members. Thank you again, Tony, for that tip. Show up, guys. You say, well, I don't really have anything exciting to say or exciting to do. Well, let me tell you something. Build consistency. Okay. That's exciting. Okay. Stay flexible in your approach. That's wisdom. It's not the person who goes to the gym and works out for 5 hours. It's the person that goes to the gym for 15 minutes for 5 months consistently. It's the person that if their gym is going through a renovation, they know how to go 30 miles to the next gym without being upset. It's the person that if you pull into a parking lot and you don't like the area, you can move. Live like the gates are open. Let your stability be your routine, your self-care. Someone asked me tonight, they were lost, or today, they called me up. Well, I called them, and we were talking about something. They were a little bit searching for how they should handle a situation. And, I always try to give people space to decide for themselves. I share what I do or what I did. And then I just say, look, when in doubt, self-care. If you're totally lost, go to the gym. If you're totally lost, go for another walk. If you're totally lost, pick up a side hustle. Someone asked me on YouTube last night on a comment, what do I do with my extra time? Self-care. And if you don't know that, you're going to destroy your life. Time management is one of the hidden jewels of life. Because when you know how to manage your time, when you know that when in doubt you don't buy a house, you focus on self-care. If you have that motto, you'll figure out the next step through taking care of yourself well. Every divorce ends with I lost myself. Every renovation ends with I'll never do this again. And then there's another renovation. Don't lose yourself. When in doubt, self-care. When in doubt, don't buy. When in doubt, pick up a side hustle. Why? Independence. Every time you don't do self-care, every time you don't pick up a side hustle, every time you do buy, you anchor yourself to a horrible life. Most people do that. Very hard. This message is for the few, not the many. My channel is for the few, not the many. Okay. But I'm okay with that. Why? Because I live a very mobile and flexible life, very simple life, so that I can be myself. That's bottom line. And look, you have to be you have to have a certain etiquette at your job. I have a certain etiquette in public, and I love it. I love being good to people and being respectful, and, I love it. I also love, and that's really me. I'm not putting up a show when I'm being respectful and calm and even-tempered in most of my dealings. That's me. But I also love to be very explosive on these live feeds as a creative way to not just make a side hustle, but to express my mindset. Those who are mature can understand that difference. Those who don't say, I don't understand how you be like this and then like that. You're in a dimension where you have no idea the different chambers of the mind. Okay. You have to learn in life to be many things at many times. Not two-faced, but multidimensional. Okay? I want to say that again. Like I told Hal, he has great people skills. That's his greatest asset. You have to learn in life not to be two-faced, meaning you don't want to be one person, but really you're someone else. But at the same time, you don't want to be the same person you are in the gym working out intense that you are in a library. In your conforming job, you don't want to be the person when you're at home watching porn. Okay. You want to be multidimensional, meaning that you have the ability to adapt to the environment based on the protocol, etiquette, and requirement. Okay. See, the problem is people don't understand that. And some people literally show up to the job as if they were masturbating. Or some people are never able to be their self at home because their home is a second job and they don't get paid for it. That's true. I talk to some people, man. It's like they're in prison. And it's like, can you talk? And they're like, well, they talk in codes. I'm like, man, you gotta get the fuck out of there, man. Can't even talk on the phone in his own damn house. What a disaster. Nah, man, stay single, man. I'm trying to tell you, right? And when you can't talk in your own house, that's a bad life, man. My opinion. Everyone should do what they want. All right, let's go back live comments, guys. Appreciate you. Howl, laughing my ass off. Good laughter is very good for the soul, man. If you're not laughing a little bit each day, even when you're crying, it's tough. Howl. That was the real shish. Well, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate who you are. Like I say, your greatest asset is your people skills. You have to be multidimensional. I know you get pissed. I know you hate people sometimes. That's normal. That's okay. It's okay to hate people at times, but still have great people skills. Why? It's not being two-faced. It's multidimensional. Yeah. Like for some of you psychopaths that want to talk over and over again, how do you stay hot? How do you stay cold in your car? Here's an inverter pack. $100, okay, from Amazon. You don't need a Jackery pack and all this other crap. Come on, guys. So when you look at this on your flat phone or your flat laptop or your flat Roku, for all my broke people, you see this and you say, oh, that's a square. Hold on, psychopaths. Put on your glasses. It's a cube. Okay? It's multidimensional. Okay? It's not a square. It's a cube. But see, you wouldn't know that unless you had your Back to the Future glasses on. Okay. You wouldn't know that unless you had an adaptive mind. You can see beyond the surface. Okay. Always think about the next step. I remember working as an apprentice electrician, working for this guy. And I tell the story sometimes. Repeat the story if it makes simple sense. Why? Those are the best lessons in life that need to be repeated. I remember working as an apprentice electrician, and I was working for this older guy. I was just like a guy who would get coffee and hand the older people tools because I was learning my first year on the job. And I was standing underneath the ladder. The guy was in the ceiling working on some electrical stuff. And I was sitting there. I was thinking about the weekend. I was thinking about partying. I was thinking about chicks. I was sitting there daydreaming. And the guy would look down and he said, Sam, hand me the pliers. And I'm like, oh, okay. Hand him pliers. And then he started doing his thing, and then I'd be daydreaming again, you know. But I thought, like, I was standing under the ladder, do what I need to do. And I would wait for the journeyman to tell me what he needed. He said, Sam, hand me the hammer. Hand him the hammer. And after the third, fourth time of the journeyman asking me to hand him something, I handed him something every time, but he got upset. He came down off the ladder. He looked at me. He put the tool down. He said, Sam, I know you're young. I know you're learning. But if you're going to go forward in life, you have to watch what I'm doing and anticipate my next move and proactively hand me the next tool. And that's how life is. You have to see the next dimension. You can't wait, okay, for someone else to tell you to hand in the pliers. You have to visualize what they're doing and see the next step. And if you don't know, you make mistakes, but you have to give some thought to life. And again, I look back at points in my life and say, man, I was really either ignorant there or not focused or young or immature, because that's part of life. You're young, you're immature, you're ignorant. Coconuts, I know market down. I know Tesla took a hit in the after hours. Like I told you guys, as the Federal Reserve giveth, they take it away. The market goes up and down. Like I said, a lot of people don't realize I owned a house for 15 years, and almost half of the 15 years I owned a house, I was underwater. Meaning the real estate market was down, and I owed more on my house for half of the time I owned it. See, people in this dimension, they don't realize that a stock cannot just be GameStop. A stock can go down like GameStop. Your house can go down in value. I'm not saying you should fear everything. Look, guys, if the markets were like they were previously, we would be in a recession right now. Because price to earnings ratio for Tesla or for anything else do not justify the prices right now. The stock prices or anything else. And I thought we'd be in a recession if things were as normal. But what happened in April and May is, guys, the government, the Federal Reserve intervened at such a level that we went into this new dimension where price to earnings ratios don't matter. Fundamentals of a company don't matter. We're in this dimension. They don't matter until they matter. And maybe they never matter. I don't know anymore. All I know is we're in a dimension where you don't hold I don't hold a stock overnight, but at the same time, you've gotten very far holding stocks for long periods of time, farther than I've gotten. So don't just cut and run with everything. But what I want to tell you is just know that everything changes. I don't know how it's going to change because I don't know the future. But I know the future is going to be easier for those who are more mobile and flexible. And that doesn't mean for everyone to live in their car. It doesn't mean I will live in my car 5 months from now. It just means live light, okay? And adapt quick. Tony, $5 super chat. I'm going to rewatch this one. One of your best talks ever. Thank you, man, for that encouragement. I appreciate that, Tony, man. Shout out to you. What's the temperature right now in Canada, man? Love to you, man. Not very few people in Florida this year because of the coronavirus. But a lot of people are getting vaccinated. Believe it or not, my mom and one of my siblings actually signed up for the vaccine. And Tony says, I don't want to know the temperature in Canada. Fair enough, brother. And just 5 months ago, people were telling me there's no way they will take the vaccine. Now, people are in line. They're signing up in advance. They can't get the vaccine. They're on a waiting list. That's how life changes. Okay. So stay flexible. Okay. Let's go back to live comments, and I'll read your whole comment, coconuts and everyone. I just want to go back in order. I love everyone. I want to thank all my members, thank all my viewers. I have gratitude, guys. Keep pushing forward. Let these videos spark something in you, not to be me, but to be you. Your best self, your best life. I know life can be miserable, so I don't want to give you this Tony Robbins pep talk that leaves you with a bunch of fluff, okay? I just want to say that you can make your life a little bit better. You can get through the bad days, and look, life does still suck, okay? But I always go with the philosophy of, I'm here, and I might as well make the most of it, because I don't want to bitch and moan all the time, because then I never go forward. That's what it is. All right, we're going back to live comments. My man Hal, I learned that waking up around 5:30 a.m. in the morning, yeah, you got to put a.m., brother, because there's some psychopaths in here. They read your comment. They think you mean 5:30 p.m., okay? Because they're in a whole nother dimension, guys, bad dimension, okay? We call it ninth dimension. The ninth dimension, guys, is basically the Walking Dead, okay? It's where we went into this apocalyptic state, okay, where everyone got the vaccine, and you wake up at 5:30 p.m., okay, and you don't do anything. You're just in this, coronavirus apocalyptic state. But I don't think the vaccine will do that to you. But 5:30 a.m. in the morning, you can fit so much more in your day. If you don't wake up early, you're in a deficit. Okay. Now you say, well, Sam, the Federal Reserve's in a deficit. Guys, the Federal Reserve prints money, okay? It don't matter if they're in a deficit. It matters if you're in a deficit. You have to wake up early, okay? If you don't wake up early, don't ask any questions, because there's nothing else to ask until you wake up early. The only exception is if you work the night shift. Have I ever worked the night shift? Yes. The only other exception is if you're young, because there's a time to be immature, party late, sleep late. But if you're 30 years old, okay, and you're not waking up by 6 a.m. max, you should try to wake up by 5 a.m. If you're over 30, waking up at 8, 9, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning, I would tell you to smack the shit out of yourself, but I'd be scared that you'd actually do it and still wake up late. All I can tell you is, guys, try to find a channel that shows cartoon illustrations of what happens to your mental health when you wake up late. What happens to your mental health when you wake up late? Good to see you, Sabrina. You drive safe. Just listen in the background. Thank you for letting me know you're here, Sabrina. Love to you. I want to tell you guys, if you don't remember anything I said, if I can tell you that once you get to the age of 30 years old, till at least the age of 70, wake up by 5 a.m. Now, look, again, when you're young, again, I told you guys, when you're 20 years old or younger, the first 20 years of your life, you're not mature enough to understand or even do any of this. Okay? And the last 10 years of your life, from 70 to 80, you have to take naps. You have to wake up late. You're in a different dimension. But for those in that middle age range, in the prime of their life, now is the time when you get the most out of your life. You're Michael Jordan in his prime. You don't put Michael Jordan in his prime on the bench because you want him to be rested for the fourth quarter. Michael Jordan in his prime plays all 4 quarters every minute. Okay. Some of you guys and girls are playing like you're Michael Jordan for the Wizards in the last game of his career. You're sleeping late, you're taking naps. You got knee problems, you got back problems. You're getting fat. Okay. And I'm saying to myself, you're in your fucking prime. You should be on top of your game, man. You should be in Florida. You should be in San Diego. You should be a director for Amazon. You should be doing Amazon Prime on the side. You should be doing DoorDash in the morning, delivering egg muffins to the seniors. You should stay away from GameStop. You should have a savings account. You should have a side hustle. You should have self-care and time management as the foundation of your life. You should be getting the most out of your prime years. I may upgrade to a RAV4 Prime and stealth camp at electrical charging stations. And even if I do that, I'll still be waking up at 5 a.m. like I did this morning in my Jeep. Okay. That's what a lot of you people don't understand. You bought a $3,000 mattress and you still can't sleep. That's your problem. And what I want to tell you is, it's a mindset we're dealing with. You're driving around a parking lot doing videos of other people. There was this girl, there's a couple of these girls. There's one of these girls used to watch my channel. Journey with Jordan, close your eyes. I think she was from Tennessee. Close your ears. Put your earmuffs on. And she was in this like mobile home park. And she was saying, I hate this mobile home park because I feel like everyone's always watching me. And as she was saying that, she had her phone. She was looking at her neighbors, recording them and uploading them to YouTube, saying, look at this neighbor, look at this neighbor. And I'm saying to myself, she don't want to live there because other neighbors are looking at her. She's making videos, posting them to YouTube. I said, what a psychopath. So, the only good thing is, if you're mobile and she's your neighbor or he's your neighbor, time to go. Okay, all right, let's go back to live comments. And he goes, it makes you feel like life is longer. Well, that could be a good or bad thing. Because you are doing more. Well, that's a good thing. And I can sleep when I'm dead. Well, you want to get 6 to 8 hours of sleep even when you're alive. Sleep is one of the healthiest things you can do if you sleep. For the average adult, 6 to 8 hours a night. If you get less than 5 hours of sleep, you're hurting yourself. If you get more than 8 hours of sleep, you're hurting yourself. 6 to 8 hours of sleep for the average adult. Good job. Tony, thank you again, brother, for that gracious tip. I'm glad I showed up. I'm grateful that I have people that support and show love. You don't have to. Thank you. Hal, what happened to the tin lunch boxes? They were good. I had a Transformer tin lunch box. I loved it. A couple other ones. They were a blessing. But what I could tell you, even people in high school, they order Uber Eats. Why? Because one is they're probably learning remotely from their mom's house. Okay. Guys, we're in a new dimension where when you're in high school, you order Uber Eats. You don't get in your car and go like, or get in your friend's car or eat your lunch, bagged lunch. We're in a new dimension. Okay. Good job. Hal, wow, deep. Coconuts, mark it down. Can I have some super chat money back? I'm not mad at you, brother. I understand that completely. I love you, brother. Hang in there, man. This is why we keep a separate savings account. This is why we don't take on too much, if any, debt. This is why we have multiple sources of revenue. I love trading as a possible side hustle, but I also know that if you depend solely on your investments for your way of living, you may still get ahead and do better than most people. You probably even do better than me in many instances, but you're going to lose nights of sleep and have emotional turmoil. You should only put more emphasis on your investments if you have 3 years worth of positive tax returns and they have a consistent, reliable source of income without hurting yourself too much emotionally and with good time management. Even if you're a trader, you don't want to be trading all day and all night because you're hurting yourself. You want to have limited time windows and structure your investment schedule and stay disciplined. It took a long time to figure that out. And it's not easy. Okay, guys, being a successful investor is not as easy as they make it look on Robinhood, guys. It's like being in the financial Olympics. Okay. And what I can tell you is, guys, most people will never be in Olympics. And most people will never make a steady, consistent source of income off investments. Now, some will. I live a beating the odds life. A lot of things I do. But I still, over the years, have kept a main job and side hustles because I realized that if I didn't, I'd be bankrupt. I'd be destitute. I'd be hurt emotionally, mentally, and even then I'm still hurt at times. But Coconuts, I know you're a smart guy, and I know you're joking, but I'm using this as an opportunity to speak to that point because I've learned from my failure. I try to learn, but any of us can be broken. But what I can tell you is you're smart. You'll be fine. I know that. But I want to share these things because I want you to be able to invest in peace. I want you to be able to trade stocks in peace, that they're a lower risk. Like I worry sometimes about Challenger the welder because if what he tells me is true and that he's made almost $1 million in investments, if he doesn't lower his risk, he's going to destroy his emotional and mental health. Even with the Federal Reserve intervening, there's always going to be a balance scale out there. There's always gravity, okay? It's like, there's always life. Even the Federal Reserve cannot stop life, okay? They can change a lot, but you know what I mean? So, got to lower the risk a little bit so you can deal with a bad day. But I wish more good days for you and all of us than bad days. Good job, Tony. And don't give up, Togonets. Yeah, I saw GameStop and AMC went crazy. I don't mess with stuff like that though. Why? Because I want to be consistent. I don't want to swing for the fences. I want to be like Tony Gwynn, one of the greatest baseball legends. His name was Tony Gwynn. He mainly played for the San Diego Padres. And what he was extremely consistent with getting on base, hitting singles, doubles, etc. Now, you may not know Tony Gwynn, but you probably know Jose Canseco. You probably know Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, for being these home run heroes. But even though they were exciting, they don't have as high as batting average as Tony Gwynn. And Tony Gwynn did it without steroids, from my understanding. So, guys, I want to be able to make my investments work without steroids, without the Federal Reserve. I want to be able to get on base, not just be able to make the crowd get excited, because I'm not in a competition to make people get out of their seat. Even when I'm on YouTube, like, yeah, I'm an entertainer, but I make videos on my terms because I got on base with my other life. I don't need to make the crowd go crazy. And that's why I see some YouTubers fail. Like every video has to be so dramatic, and sometimes it works, but it's a full-time job without creativity. And if I want another full-time job, I'll get it because I'm a worker. I got a good resume. But I don't want that. This is a side hustle for not just the economics, but also for the creative passion to use my gift on my terms. Guys, if I just want more money, I just put more time in a DoorDash, or I just pick up another job in IT or electrical field. It'd be very easy for me to do at this point in my life. Okay. And I'd probably even make more. But like I say, the reason I've been mobile and flexible these past several years is to live life on my terms and live a great life even without a house. Okay. And so, what I could tell you is that, let's take hydration break, go back to live comments. Loved everyone in the live chat. Shout out to Sabrina driving, Coconuts trading, Hal living his best life, ESP in Alaska, cold as hell, Tony, Good, man. Appreciate you, Tony. Thank you for those super chats, brother. You know I got love for you. Stay positive, man. Keep pushing forward. My man Journey with Jordan blessed us tonight, man. Tennessee's in here so strong. I hope he's still in here, man. Journey, man, he's been with me a long time. Pluto! Shout out to you, man. Everyone likes San Francisco. Even ESP likes her. Likes San Francisco. Pluto, man, you stay mobile, you stay flexible. Remember, you're going to have good and bad days. Pluto, when you're bored, self-care. Manage your time. Pluto, you're in the dimension now. Your number one priority, Pluto, is time management. Pluto, you hear me? Pluto, if you hear me, put the ear emoji in the members only live feed. Ear emoji. Then I want you to put the clock emoji. When you go to bed tonight and for the rest of your life, I want you to hear the words time management. Why? They will keep you away from depression. They will keep you away from idle, destructive behavior. They will keep you away from going back to Pennsylvania. They will keep you away from thinking a house, or away from thinking an RV, or away from thinking a car. It will keep you away from thinking that something else can make your life It'll keep you away from thinking that something else can make your life great other than self-care and time management. Coconuts, Pluto, and everyone who's listening. If you can't manage your time, you're going to make the wrong decisions. When you start to sit and watch too many videos, or when you're thinking about waking up late, or when you're thinking about staying up late, or when you're thinking about not doing the next task, when you're thinking about your objectives today, whether it's going to the laundromat, dropping off a load, or busting your load and get off porn. A lot of my guys who went no-fab, they did that because they were watching porn for 20 hours. Guys, 20 minutes. You should not watch porn for more than 20 minutes. And then bust your load and go to the next thing. Time management. See, the people who did no-fab, they fucked up. Because they didn't realize time management. They thought that porn was the reason that their life got destroyed. Their life got destroyed because they weren't looking at the clock and then disciplining their mind to go to the next task. When you have learned to manage your time, you'll never be perfect. But every time you focus on something and you have a goal, you'll always end up better. There's no perfect life, there's a better life. When you focus on time management, you save your life. You save your money. You save your health. Because I'm telling you right now, you show me someone who can't manage their time, they don't have money, they don't have their health, and they don't have shit. Let's take hydration break. Back live comments. Thank you again, Tony, for that gracious super chats and gracious words. Thank you, brother. Tony, you don't want to know about the weather in Canada. Sabrina, I love you. It's great to hear from you. Thank you for letting me know you're listening while you're driving. Drive safe. I hope these words and live feed chats are helping you, Sabrina, as we talk out live. Tony, we call it the all-night gas station bathroom dimension. Oh, I'll tell you right now, guys. If you've never been to an all-night gas station, if you've never been to their bathroom, you've never experienced that. I rather go to an all-night gas station bathroom and not clean it than to own a toilet bowl in a house and clean it. See, you can live a great life even not owning a toilet bowl. Why? Because you can take a dookie in an all-night gas station and flush it. You should flush it, but then get out of Dodge. I'll tell you the truth. I like that dimension. One day, though, I'm going to get an RV or a home base. We'll see. I may get a 1,000 Trails package. They got a new package coming out tomorrow. I'm going to see it. How am psychopaths? Well, We've all been a psychopath at times, even myself. I look back at my life and I say, man, in that relationship, at that time, at that job, when I was saying this, when I was doing this, I was a psychopath. Okay. You know, if anyone is being honest, I don't think you can honestly look back at your life and say at a certain points, you didn't make some wild thought processes. But it's okay to be embarrassed. It's okay to be embarrassed. And it's okay to move forward. It's okay to mature. You don't have to be the same person you were. But you have to start making some changes. And to make those changes, you need to be flexible. You need to realize the house doesn't make your life great. The mindset does. The habits do. The time management does. The self-care does. The ceiling fan doesn't make your life great. The self-care does. You go into another dimension. Congrats. Oh, yeah, I read that. Yeah, AMC and GME, the stock symbols, they went crazy. Yep, a lot of crazy people trading them, not me. Congrats. A lot of market manipulation going on. It always has been, always will be. So what I can tell you is everyone has a different strategy. Keep your accounts separate. Separate savings account, separate checking account, separate brokerage account. And mitigate your risk and have other streams of revenue so that you never lose your mind in this crazy world. How? I never did stocks. I was thinking put $150 in Tesla and $50 in AMC and just wait. I need advice to help me out. I downloaded Robinhood app. Yeah, just have that money to throw away because you don't learn something without failing. So you're going to lose that money and more, and you're going to maybe lose thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in your lifetime with stocks. And you're going to need about 10 years of failure before you learn how to do it good. And even then, you'll still be beating the odds if you eventually learn how to do it good. So the average person should just work on a 12-month emergency fund, paying off their debt, and investing in the index fund, and any money left over of that, play with stocks. Am I against if you want to be above average? No. But I tell you, practice. I can only tell you practice what I preach. I play with stocks. I have played with stocks. In the long term, to this date, I still have lost more money than I've made, but I've never been destitute, and I've paid off debt, and I have a fully funded savings account, and I have multiple streams of revenue. So I've never gone without, but I have mentally, emotionally been hurt by financial loss through playing with stocks. However, I've learned a lot, and I've been able to gain some momentum. But it takes years to recover from the beginning years of trial and tribulation. So it's a journey that I would never tell anyone not to go on because I'd be a hypocrite. But I would also can only tell you what I did, which is keep a job, keep a savings account, pay off your debt, and you got to only risk money you can afford to lose. Or else you're going to get out of balance and you're going to go down a negative algorithm. Good job. Coconuts. Under Biden, EVs, pot stocks, and solar will do great. It's possible. That's the general consensus. I have no idea, but that is possible. Pluto, much love, brother. Same to you, man. Pluto, I am, brother. Taking everything one day at a time. You're a very smart guy, and you did it. Okay, you got in your car and you went from Pennsylvania to California. Okay, you seized the moment of your life. Okay, and you managed. I think you did a great job. Very proud of you. No matter what you do in the future, Pluto, you go back to Pennsylvania, you go back to St. Augustine, Florida, whatever you do. But I'll tell you guys, once you go to a warm state, California, Florida, Texas, I don't know why you go back to a cold state. Now, I know ESP loves Alaska. So if you love your cold state, or if you want to go there in the summer, I understand that. But what I want to tell you guys, I hate winter. Pluto, your emoji time management, excellent. And even though energy-wise and mentally, I still have more capacity. I want to manage my time, practice what I preach. This live feed's been going on for an hour and 20 minutes. Now, sometimes I go a little bit longer, sometimes a little bit less, but about an hour live feed is about the time that I allocate each day to go live. I see some people, they go live for 8 hours, okay? Or they do a YouTube video of 10 seconds. Bad time management, guys. Okay? YouTube is not TikTok, and YouTube is not a webcam of the beach. Okay. Manage your time. Okay. Once you've done that, you'll be on a better course in life. Peace.